Kia ora, Fáilte Road, that's Irish for good evening. Great to see a fellow Irishman here, Mr. Hennebury. And he's reminded me that we are a city of migrants. We're all different ethnicities, we all come together, we're all different colours, we're all different countries. I'm a more recent import, there's some that have been here for several generations. I'd like to ask the candidates, what would they do that hasn't been done already to enhance integration of the migrant communities into Hamilton, the recent migrant communities?
The first thing I'd put together would be a united constitution, because we have so much division in our society. And if we could equalise all individuals, because equal societies do better, and recognise all ethnic people in this country as citizens of New Zealand, because we're so divided, we haven't got a united constitution, or we're not a united people. So that's the first thing I would focus on, would be a united constitution and communities all working together.
Well, I know it's not core business, but actual fact, the council did spend $500,000 actually purchasing a building off a rugby club on Claudelands to turn into a migrant centre. So we do have one, whether we like it or not, and it is there for everybody to use. Now, why I say that is that not everybody uses it. There's only a certain amount of migrants use it. So what I'm saying to you is, if you feel strongly about that, go there and join in, because we do provide the facilities for everybody.
I'm very proud of what this city does actually with migrants. We're regarded around the country as probably the best at settlement of new migrants in the country, and that's come down to a number of things. Firstly, a number of people within our community who have put themselves forward as people who are willing to care for, make relationships with and support people as they settle in the community. The other thing that has really impressed me over recent years is the degree to which these communities throw up leaders of their own that actually start to support the communities, look after themselves. We have a migrant forum every year where the mayor and councillors meet with the migrant communities, and the change that's occurred over the last few years is a few years ago they would come along and say to council, we want this, we want this, we want this. This year I noticed when they started to say that, other members of the community turned to them and said, well, you need to do this. They were starting to give them each other advice about how they could achieve the things they wanted to achieve within the community. And I think that's quite remarkable progress, and I think we should all feel very proud of how well it's gone in the city.
I believe in treating all people the same, regardless of race, culture, sex, industry or age. That includes the Hamilton 400. If you can all recall, I was actually removed for wearing a bikini, and there was a family that sat on their roof that were charged, and their charge that they were charged was actually released by Bob Simcock. But my ban continued.
I do have a little bit to do with the Migrant Centre through my work, and I think they do a very good job, and I would certainly encourage and support that. We have two very big academic institutions in this city, and they have a lot of international students. And I know from my personal experience that they do a very good job at welcoming and helping those students to participate in our city and contribute to our city. But you know, one thing that I think would be a really good thing for us to do is let's have a week of celebration of the international feel. I certainly like the food of different countries around the world, and I think that might be a nice way to say thank you for the contribution you do make to our city, both financially and culturally.
Two things to say. One, we have a little gem in this city called Community Radio Hamilton, which is a fantastic meeting place for people of all cultures, where they get together and they explore ideas and they create fellowship. It's a real asset to the city. It's probably the best run community radio station in New Zealand. The other thing I have to say is I've heard so many derogatory comments about the Somali community, and I can see no members of the Somali community here. I've made it a point to talk to every Somali person I've seen in Hamilton. I've gone up to them and spoken to them. Never such an erudite group of people, young people working hard at university, young people who are so grateful to be here, young people who feel slightly disenfranchised because that they feel they're on the margins, but at the same time they are so grateful for the opportunities we have offered them. I think it's our responsibility as people to step out, shake hands and say welcome.
Well, the candidates certainly seem to be doing well, but let's see how they perform after the break. There'll be more from the In-Depth election special for the Waikato Times Mayoral Forum.